My name is Bronwen Lathrop, and my partner, Melissa Lee, and I ideated and designed TIE, an app design aimed at facilitating social engagement to mitigate loneliness during transitory periods. The primary issue we wanted to address with TIE is the state of loneliness in modern society, which has been referred to by researchers as an epidemic. Loneliness can be defined as an emotionally painful experience that transpires when an individual assesses their interpersonal relationships to be fewer and/or lesser in quality than desired. A 2021 national survey of American adults from Harvard University researchers reported that 36% of respondents described feeling lonely frequently or almost all the time or all the time in the 4 weeks prior to the survey, a number that includes more than 60% of young people ages 18 to 25. The rate of loneliness has been exacerbated by the COVID-19 global pandemic, with close to 50% of young adults reporting increased feelings of loneliness since the pandemic began. The impact of loneliness on mental health cannot be overstated. It has been shown to increase depressive symptoms, perceived stress, anxiety, anger, as well as diminish optimism and self-esteem. Moreover, loneliness has been associated with personality disorders, psychoses, suicide, cognitive decline over time, and even increased risk of Alzheimer's disease. A 2020 study from the National Academy of Sciences, Engineering, and Medicine identified that social isolation significantly increases the risk of premature death. Historically, psychology research has focused on the chronic aspect of loneliness, which led to an abundance of research on older populations, as this group is at increased risk of experiencing continued loneliness and social isolation, as they are more likely to encounter challenges like living alone, loss of loved ones, chronic illness, and decline in communication skills. However, other age groups, from young adults to people at midlife, also experience loneliness, typically spurred from life events that result in separation from their families, community networks, and friends during major life changes. Accordingly, instead of focusing on the chronic aspect of loneliness, we should shift our focus on the common denominator between age groups, how loneliness transpires from transitory periods. Gratitude can be described as a positive emotional response characterized by appreciation, thankfulness, and a sense of wonder that is robustly associated with features of high-quality, healthy social relationships. We have identified gratitude as a practice with the potential to combat loneliness because of this intrinsically social relational element of gratitude and research that has demonstrated its positive impact on well-being. Such research has shown that gratitude increases the likelihood of prosocial behavior, trust in others, and helps to build and reinforce social bonds. Notably, prosocial behavior has been negatively associated with loneliness and positively associated with peer acceptance at all ages. Research has suggested that depressive symptoms that are positively associated with loneliness, were decreased following gratitude writing activities. Gratitude writing may be especially beneficial for individuals suffering from loneliness because of the focused attention on positive interpersonal connections. In short, expressions of gratitude have been shown to facilitate initiation and maintenance of prosocial behavior, as well as increase trust in others and build social bonds. We designed TIE, a multimodal journaling app that aims to help individuals who are experiencing any life event where there is a change that sparks sentiments of loneliness. TIE leverages gratitude expression and journaling as a means to facilitate social engagement in hopes of promoting the strengthening of social bonds and reducing feelings of loneliness. In addition to our research on gratitude writing, we familiarized ourselves with available journaling and gratitude apps, as well as conducted semi-structured interviews, which we heavily relied on to ensure that our design requirements were rooted in real user stories, and that we had sufficient insight to create a viable design solution. From there, we began to derive design requirements with supplemental design research methods such as affinity diagramming, journal mapping, persona building, and rapid prototyping. Research has shown that actions like gratitude writing are most effective when participants have effortlessly endorsed and committed to the intervention on a continued basis. However, people tend to adapt and become desensitized to positive events when there is continued focus on them. In fact, one study by Lubomirsky and colleagues suggested that people who wrote in gratitude journals once a week for 6 weeks experienced the positive benefits associated with gratitude writing, whereas participants writing 3 times a week did not. During the onboarding experience, we defined gratitude, the benefits of practicing gratitude, and how journaling can be an effective method to do so. The decision to include this as a primary feature directly supports our design requirement of endorsement of sustained usage by ensuring users are optimally set up to understand, endorse, and commit to the intervention. Some literature suggests that loneliness itself is a source of shame. This might include shame associated with feelings of inadequacy and guilt at the inability to form fulfilling or meaningful interpersonal connections. Some studies even express concerns about underreporting loneliness due to the stigma associated with being identified as lonely. In order to keep user privacy at the forefront of our design, while also maintaining sustained gratitude writing that follows research recommendations, we have designed gentle, discrete notifications to get users started in their entries if they wish to, without any explicit mention of loneliness or improving social connectedness. Based on our prioritization of accessibility, the variety of mediums and methods participants mentioned using to express themselves, and the general time-consuming nature of text-based journaling on certain devices such as smartphones, we designed the journaling experience to be multimodal. Users have the liberty to choose between typed text, speech-to-text, or even draw and doodle across surfaces. This design helps to make gratitude expression using time more flexible, less formal, and equally robust as other note-taking alternatives. Additionally, based on interview insights and research on sustained use, we have gently prompted users to get started in their entries if they wish. These prompts are seen in a lighter color to easily fade out of focus if unwanted. Based on this research, we designed an insights tool to analyze user entries to help identify common names that are frequently brought up. Notably, based on prioritizing intimacy and privacy, these names are not connected to any particular social profiles or external accounts. Names identified are simply from sentiment analysis alone, and there is no third-party app integration in this design. Users can choose the timescale of the entries they want to analyze, and names will be brought up accordingly. Sizes of circles represent the frequency at which those names are mentioned. Furthermore, users can explore themes, topics, and words commonly used in entries pertaining to individual people. Our hope is that TIE helps guide users to identify individuals who they are consistently writing about to encourage expressing gratitude. While studies have shown benefits to reflective and expressive gratitude writing, interpersonal gratitude oriented towards others has been shown to be particularly effective in enhancing emotional well-being when outwardly expressed. As for future directions, we would have ideally included a diary study with a few of the participants we interviewed in our research phase to better understand the nuances of gratitude journaling and its immediate impacts on users' lives in our original study, and would aim to include this moving forward. We would also hope to have an evaluation of our app by users across age groups, ability, and life experience in order to further improve interface accessibility. Recent research has suggested that while gratitude intervention has positive impacts, previous works may have overemphasized the associated benefits in some populations. To that end, we would aim to collect a larger sample of information concerning the long-term effects of gratitude interventions like TIE in individuals experiencing loneliness. We believe that while rooted in real-life user stories and experiences, our design solution has only begun to scratch the surface of how a gratitude expression system such as TIE can help social engagement and aid in the mitigation of loneliness for those experiencing transitory periods. We are very excited by potential future iterations of this work. Thank you.